No moving, please.
Hey, are you curious about your nutrition? Because if you are, then this video is just for you. Today is going to be an entire video on dieting and nutrition and all the basic stuff that you need to know so you can start eating properly and stop killing yourself. So, to start off, essentially we all agree that eating, when we are eating, we are consuming forms of energy, right? And when we move around in the day, and in order to stay alive, we expend energy. So with that logic, that means that we, well, depending on, what stage of life you're at, if you're looking to just stay, if you're happy with the body fat you currently have and you don't want to lose any more body fat, then you can just eat as much as you expend basically. I'm sure everybody has heard of a calorie. So what that means is I want you guys to be eating at your maintenance calories. And what that looks like is from week to week, you will be eating a certain amount of calories each day or just over the course of the week. And you have to monitor the scale carefully and see that you are not gaining any weight, because that is what your maintenance is. If theoretically you are eating as much, if you are consuming as much energy as you are expending, then you should not experience any changes or very minuscule changes in your weight. And so obviously if you then want to cut, if you want to lose weight, then you must consume less energy than you expend. In other words, a calorie deficit. Alright? I recommend if you were to go on a cut, to not cut your calories too deep in a deficit. I'd say somewhere around where you're able to lose 1% of your body weight per week is a good pace at which you can be cutting. Obviously, that's going to look like a very different amount of calories depending on the individual, depending on what you weigh, how tall you are, etc. I mean, basically, we can break down your total daily energy expenditure into four main aspects, right? You have your basic metabolic rate, which is going to be the main chunk of where your energy is getting expended. And essentially, all that encapsulates is going to be the functioning of your body. So stuff like your heart beating and your eyes working and your brain working, that's going to require energy just so you can stay alive and function, and so the body can function basically, right? Aside from that, there's also the thermic effect of food, sorry, which is just well, depending on the food you eat, it's actually going to require you a certain amount of energy to digest that food. So typically, things higher in protein are going to be, they're going to require more energy to actually digest than something like a carbohydrate. And there's also going to be your non-active exercise thermogenesis, as well as your active exercise thermogenesis. What that is non-active is going to be you're going to expend energy when you make like little movements, right? When you're fidgeting, if you're fidgeting around, then yeah, you're gonna expend calories that way. And obviously your active exercise thermogenesis is just very simply going to be your, your forms of cardio, whether you'll be running, walking, playing a sport, that type of stuff. So yeah, depending on the individual, uh, we're all going to be, the individual is going to be expending a different amount of calories, and it is just up to you to find uh, where exactly your maintenance calories are. So for me, that looks like, for context, I am currently around 72 kilos, or I was at least before I started my cut, and I'm about 172 centimeters tall, 170, 169, somewhere around there. And I lose, and I make sure to hit, I aim for 10,000 steps a day. And so what my maintenance looked like before was around 2,700, 2,600, somewhere around there. That is in calories. And so yeah, and now I am eating around 2,000 calories a day. So something like a 600 calorie deficit, which has allowed me to lose so far around 2.5 kilos in 4 weeks, I think, which is, yeah, pretty good rate. At first, your weight, if you're going to diet down, your weight loss would be quite significant at the start, because you have a lot of water. You're carrying around a lot of water weight. So that is all I'm going to talk about today for calories. Not much more to say. If you guys have any further questions, just ask me in the comments and I'll get around to it. As for what your macros are going to look like, this is for all individuals, right? I'm making generalization here, and I'm gonna go out and say that you need the ceiling of the amount of protein you need is 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight. Okay, 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight. I don't care who you are, how skinny you are, how fat you are, that is the utmost limit, the utmost ceiling that is going to be effective for muscle growth. Other than that, your fats. So your fats are they are important for regulating your hormones. Essentially, I just aim for around 1 gram per kilogram for this one, but I rarely, usually, especially because I'm on the cut now, usually it's a bit lower than that and I feel completely fine. So yeah, that's just up to the individual. And finally, your carbohydrates. This is the one where you have to be a bit smarter than with your proteins and your fats. Basically, you have that protein goal, that 1.6 gram per kilogram, and you have sort of like a fat goal, which is your fat goal is not that deep. But anyways, your carbohydrates is just going to fill out the rest of your calories, and you want to place your carbohydrates strategically, like consume your carbohydrates strategically throughout the day. And what I mean is your carbohydrates will be your main source of fuel, right? Main source of fuel for the gym, for your exercise, for whatever. So essentially what I advise you to do at least is, depending on what time of day you decide to train, try like stacking all your like the majority of your carbohydrates at the, like a bit before you work out. So basically, to give you an example, I work out usually in the mornings around 10, 11 a.m. And so what happens is I wake up at 8 a.m. and for breakfast, I'll keep my fats relatively low and my protein relatively low, and I'll focus mainly on carbs. The reason why is because, again, carbs is are going to be your primary source of fuel. Your glycogen is your primary source of fuel for any sort of exercise. And the reason why I want to keep my fats and proteins low is because fats and proteins are going to take a longer duration of time to digest. And so since I work out in the morning, I don't really have the time to be sitting around and waiting for the food to digest. So yeah. Anyways, that is the end of my video for today. This nutrition topic is actually quite nuanced, so I might make a part 2 in the future. I'm not sure. But anyways, thank you everybody for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.